I expect him to go to jail, but I don't know when and for how long. But definitely, I would not admit guilty, because for somebody who is determined to resist, I would never admit guilty.
And that was Chinese Communist Party freedom fighter Jimmy Lai in his last interview before he was arrested with me back in 2020. Now, closing arguments in the trial of the pro-democracy media mogul have been postponed until tomorrow due to a typhoon warning in Taiwan. Jimmy Lai has been in custody in Hong Kong for nearly 4 years, facing life in prison on sedition and collusion charges for his role in the pro-democracy Hong Kong protests in 2019. Activist groups calling for his release over critical health concerns now. Joining me now is his son and the leader of the Free Jimmy Lai campaign, Sebastien Lai, back with us. Sebastien, thanks very much for being here this morning. So your father has his closing arguments now tomorrow. What are you expecting? How is your father doing?
And that is correct. Yeah, thank you so much for having me and for telling my father's story. Look, it's a show trial, textbook show trial, as you mentioned, for the last 4 years, almost 5 years now. And the trial still hasn't finished. This is a trial where there's 3 national security law judges, allegations of witnesses being tortured. So they'll just pin whatever they want on him. But the allegations has come out, and it has shown him to be a real moral force behind the movement. The allegations they have against him are incredibly thin. So my father is still fighting, and yeah, we're very worried about him, but he's still fighting.
He was a prominent businessman in Hong Kong, the founder of the Apple Daily. He was a media mogul. How has he been treated in prison? Do you have any idea?
Yeah. So he turns 78 this year. He's been in solitary confinement this whole time. So 14 days of solitary confinement is considered prolonged solitary confinement and can be considered a form of torture. He's been in there for 1,600, almost 1,700 days now. He at his age, he's being kept in a little concrete cell by himself. Hong Kong goes up to 30, 40 degrees in the summer. So I don't know what the conversion is to Fahrenheit, but he essentially bakes in there. So we're incredibly worried about him. Yeah.
Of course you are. Of course you're on all the time. They don't want him tonight and when it's day. Is that right? I mean, what are the other things that they're doing to him?
I don't know exactly regarding lights, but I know they blocked off national lights to his cell.
Yeah.
He can't go to mass. I mean, obviously, religion is such an important part of what drove him to stand behind these principles, to stand and protect his people in Hong Kong and stay and protect them. And they're not even letting him this little. It's incredibly distressing.
So you say this is a show. Your expectations are that it's not going to be fair. Is the only thing that Jimmy Lai has going for him now the potential that President Trump uses him as a negotiating lever for China?
Yeah, I think there's no chance.
Is that all you're expecting? Is that all that you expect could be positive for him?
Yeah, so obviously we've been incredibly grateful of the support that we've received from both the president, but the administration and many American senators and congressmen. He's not going to get a fair trial. There's no chance of a fair trial. I think anybody seeing the length of this trial, the conditions of this trial, knows that it's completely politically motivated. My father is in jail in Hong Kong for essentially courage, because he decided to stand up for freedom and democracy and stay and defend his journalists. So, there's so much at stake in this trial. All the freedoms of Hong Kong are being put on trial, and there's just no chance that he's going to get anything close to a fair trial.
Unbelievable. The trial will be in Hong Kong, China, though, Sebastien.
The trial will happen in Hong Kong, and it is an open court, so people can go see it. And I think one of the things that keep my father safe is also the world keeping an eye on him.
Right.
We're very grateful for that.
Well, that's why we keep doing this story and following his story so closely. We understand. I mean, China has consistently held severe control over freedom of speech, obviously. they disappear anybody who speaks out of the regime. Alibaba co-founder Jack Ma was famously disappeared after he criticized China's financial sector in 2020. He made a rare appearance with Xi Jinping this past February. I guess at that point, Xi Jinping wanted people to think he was free. What is your take on the MO of the CCP?
Well, I think Hong Kong is a litmus test for that. You could see what they are freedoms through Hong Kong. Yeah. I mean, Hong Kong used to be this place where, you know, there was a free press, there was a rule of law, it was a place where you could be a system. Now, in what they've been doing to my father and other political prisoners, they have shown to be very willing to weaponize their legal system. I mean, this is about one's right to know, one's right to be able to speak out. I think that's what's at stake at the moment.
Yeah, and we're looking at pictures right now of the assault by the CCP goons who went after all freedom fighters in Hong Kong on July 21st of 2019. How would you characterize what took place? I mean, China was not supposed to take back Hong Kong when it did, but they sent all those police in there to basically stop any pushback on the regime. Do you expect that this could take place or somewhere else? I mean, talk to us a little about what was behind what we're looking at here in July of 2019.
I think many people around the world were incredibly by the spirit of Hong Kong. You know, all these people going out and campaigning for a better future for their children. And, you know, obviously there was some violence on both sides, but it was a real minority. Like, you know, there was on one day 2 million people came out and campaigned peacefully in Hong Kong. And you know, as you can see from the images there, that's how many of these people were dealt with pepper spray, with tear gas canisters. I mean, it was a really brutal crackdown. But I think what's been as brutal, if not more brutal, it's what's happening now in the silence. You know, they sent 500 people to raid my father's newspapers. They've imprisoned more than 1,000 pro-democracy protesters. Protesters wanted was democratic freedom, the ability to elect a leader in Hong Kong. Nothing controversial, nothing crazy.
Yeah, and yet he has the nerve to allow people to believe that Hong Kong is free and cattle goes public there, and you've got American banks like J.P. Morgan and Bank of America taking public this battery company that is tied to the Chinese Communist Party and the People's Liberation Army, and as if it's, you know, some international trading hub or capitalist hub. Meanwhile, we're looking at these pictures of CCP goons taking people down with tear gas. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, Hong Kong, because of the very rule of law that made it into such a vibrant and safe place to do business. That is gone. That is gone now. And I think, you know, obviously a lot of people are leaving. A lot of people are voting. It's a decision to all these, you know, major multinationals whether they feel comfortable sending their employees there. Because if you voice support for democracy, you could very well end up in prison.
Street firm, every American understanding what's taking place in Hong Kong and what has taken place since 2019. These pictures are critical to watch. Sebastien, thank you very much for being here. We will say a prayer for your father and his closing arguments, which now are happening tomorrow. Do you believe that it was because of a typhoon warning in Taiwan that they pushed the closing arguments to tomorrow?
It was actually quite an emotional moment, because even though Hong Kong was being rained on by this typhoon, there were so many people that were waiting outside to see my father. So there's these beautiful pictures of all these people lining outside, and it just shows that what my father did matters. You know, it shows that people care about a man who's given everything he has for his principles and stand and defend his people.
That's right. Sebastien, thanks very much. We'll be watching the developments. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for having me.
Pray for your father, Sebastien Lai, joining us. Stay with us. We'll be right back.